Communication is a multifaceted thing. When it comes to speech, it's not just the words you're saying that's the message. The overall communication includes the tone of voice, the way you look, your appearance, your attitude, your emotions, as well as all the attributes we've been working so hard on this course with, speaking in a nice, resonant and clear voice. Body language and posture also comes into how successful you'll be as a communicator. And if you're giving a speech, a presentation, or teaching something, the structure of what you're saying, the order of facts and information, can also be very important as to how well the listeners take it in and remember it.
But one way to make any kind of communication easier to understand by the other person and truly engaging with them is by understanding and using emphasis or stress. Human beings like variety and surprises in speech, as they do in music.
Contrast is always important in the arts. Think of the best pieces of music, both from classical days, where things used to go from extremely quiet to full orchestra, or rock groups like Muse, say, or my favourite band from France, Chaka Ponk, who can go from desperately quiet to all-out extreme heavy rock throughout their music.
In speech, by stressing the right words and by truly trying to understand how your listeners are understanding you at every moment that you're talking, in other words, getting feedback, this can help your communication enormously. Pitch and volume variety and also stressing certain important words makes speech more interesting, and particularly if you're talking about something that the other person has to remember. To put a bit more emphasis on the important words will help that information get into their heads much easier. Plus, anything is better than hearing a speaker drone on and on, where every word and sentence seems to be on the same note and nothing varies.
Now, some broadcasters can emphasize the wrong words. It sometimes sounds plain annoying when newsreaders go into a sing-song autopilot delivery and emphasize the link words rather than the important words in their bulletin, a typical rookie broadcaster mistake. Now, when voiceover artists or actors first start out, they're often told to simply underline the words in the script that should be emphasized, but after a while, you get to understand how to do this automatically. Of course, it's not just individual words in whole sentences, but every word has its own internal stressed syllables. These have to be addressed well in order to pronounce them properly. So, protecting, it's protecting rather than protecting or protecting, right? And exercise, microphone, and so on. Emphasis doesn't just mean making syllables louder where they have to be. You'll probably notice it sounds good to often raise the pitch up on a word as well. Do you do this?
Go to YouTube and find a TED or a TEDx presentation on a subject you're interested in and hear how some of the world's top speakers present. You won't hear many monotone speakers on stage at these events. They know their subjects well, but it's how the information is got across that makes all the difference. A general rule of thumb when it comes to what words you do emphasize is that you put a bit more power under words that people may not have heard before, or it's an important part of what they're learning about, or you are negating what they think already.
So here's the exercise. There'll be 5 seconds thinking time before we give the answer. Ready? What word should you emphasize in order to get hopefully a more accurate reply?
Excuse me, can you tell me where the furniture department is?
What word would you emphasize to highlight your sincere feelings?
You know, I've always loved you.
What 2 words would you emphasize here to suggest that the sale is over?
No, you're wrong. The sale ended last week.
What 2 words would you emphasize to say you definitely don't want to skydive tomorrow?
No, I definitely don't want to do that.
I'm sure you get the idea by now. The other thing to remember is that changing emphasis on some words in sentences changes completely the meaning. Take a look at this sentence. Are you coming for dinner next Tuesday? Emphasize are. Are you coming for dinner next Tuesday? And it's as if the person still hasn't made up their mind yet. Or emphasize you, and it's as if you have already spoken to others in the group. Are you coming to dinner next Tuesday? And so on. So watch that. Emphasis can change the meaning as well. Very important to get right.